Righto, Telio there champs, and here we have the Razer Blade 15 2020 model. Now if you want to know the difference between the base and the advanced model, I have the base model here, and my base model comes with the Intel 10th generation 107050H processor, 16GB of RAM at 2933, an RTX 2070 Max-Q that is not super, and actually does come with Windows Home. If you want to upgrade your laptop from Windows Home to Windows Pro, go on my description. You can buy it cheap, I've got a discount for you, and you can buy Office 2019 as well. Now, as I said, the main differences between the Advanced and the base model is the Advanced has a SD card reader, per key RGB, has a vapor chamber. You get the option of the 8-core 10875H. You have more power profiles. You can get RTX 2070 and 2080 Super. You also get USB Type-C charging, bigger battery, 80 watt hours versus 65 watt hours. Now, one strange thing is the base model has Ethernet. You also have that gorgeous Mercury White Studio Edition, and I do like that one. And a lot of people ask me to compare it to the MacBook Pro and the XPS 15. If you want to see that comparison, give me a thumbs up. Or let me know down there in the comments. Not so much for gaming, for content creation. Because this Razer Blade is definitely the sexiest out of the gaming laptops, especially the Mercury White. It's just amazing in terms of design. But we want to have a game, so let's get into it. First of all, I just want to talk about thermals for a sec. You don't have to worry about thermals at all because it is power limited. So in its gaming profile, you're going to get 35 watts CPU, 90 watts GPU. In its creator mode, you're going to get 45 watts CPU, around 65 watts GPU. Now, because of this, you're not going to be the benchmarking king, but you get a great gaming experience because it's not as loud. The temperatures are well in control. You're not going to see 90s and 100 or stuff like that, you know. Temperature is not an issue with this. Now, I do have the OLED model here. On the Advanced, you can get a 300Hz 1080p model as well, and you can also get 144Hz on the base model. And that's 1080p as well. So thermal's not an issue, not that loud. So I like that. It gives you a better gaming experience in my opinion. So let's have a look at the benchmarks. First we'll look at Firestrike, and here you can probably see the difference between the 2070 and the 2070 Super. If you look at the Aero 15 has a 2070 Super and this Razer Blade has a 2070. So you're going to see the differences there, 90 watters. Now what's interesting is looking at that MacBook Pro 16 5600M, yeah, it does well. And it probably sits in between a 2060 and a 2070 that's in the Razer here. But as you can see there, 7603, not quite as fast as the Super, but yeah, faster than the 2060, as you would expect. Now all these tests are 1080p high, and I did do all these tests in gaming mode. And here you can see in Deus Ex Mankind Divided, again, the 2070, you're getting over 100 frames per second, not quite as fast as the 2070 Super. So this will give you an idea. If you get the advanced model, it's going to be more like the Aero speeds there. So 113 versus 128. Maybe the Razer will be slightly slower just because of the power limiting, but then it'll be cooler and quieter. So pick your poison there. But over 100 frames per second, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, that's what you want. Now we'll get into GTA 5, and as you see again, well in excess of 100 frames per second. And you can see again, nice boost over the 2060. They are Ryzen systems, by the way, all the 2060s, but not quite as fast as the 2070 Super. So that's what you'd expect. That 5600M, I wish they had that in a PC, because you can imagine pumping more watts into that, how that would do. You've got 144Hz display. Just lower a couple of settings and you're going to get that nice buttery feeling of gaming on this. I have the OLED, so I don't get that, and the OLED is awesome. And now let's go into PUBG and shock horror. It's faster than the 2060, just a bit short of a 2070 Super. Again, you're getting enough frames to get the most out of that 144Hz display. This is high settings 1080p. You just want to lower it down a touch again and you're good to go here. Now, if you look at the differences between the 2070 Super and 2070 in this Razer, would you actually notice the difference? I want to know, do you reckon you're going to notice that small difference in the FPS? I doubt it very much. You can probably save your money here with the base model. It performs super well. You don't need the 8 cores for gaming on the most part. And as you'll see there, no surprise, it's like all the other benchmarks, although I will say the MacBook Pro 16 with the 5600M, wow, that's very close to a 2070 there, isn't it? And to round it off with Battlefield 5, which is the game that brings the laptops to its knees. It really uses a lot of CPU and GPU, And even playing Battlefield 5, the temperatures were well under control. It was still staying at that 35 watt CPU, 90 watt GPU. Here you can see it's a little bit slower than the Super. I suspect that's because it's 35 watts on the CPU. And the 5600M and the MacBook Pro actually beats this one out, beats the 2070. So that's a super surprise to me. But still 85 frames per second. It's getting up there. You might need to lower things down a little bit to get the super connected feeling. Now that wraps up the benchmarks, but do stay tuned for the Red Dead run. You get to see it run through Red Dead Redemption benchmark, and you'll see all the thermals in action there and just how it performs. I like this thing for gaming. Probably won't beat a benchmark king, but are you going to notice the difference? You will notice the difference in the loudness. It's not as loud as other gaming laptops, and the temperatures aren't sky high like some other gaming laptops. So I like the gaming experience on this. Catch you in the next one, guys. Tally ho.